Welcome to the Know. I'm Brian.
I'm Gus.
So we had a big controversy, Gus, over the weekend. Let's get into it. It has to do with the popular streamer Ninja. And he gave an interview with Polygon. This was at a Samsung event, but he was talking about, I guess there had been talk about who he streamed with and who he didn't. And he talked about why he did not stream with women streamers. And he brought up, basically he was saying that in his explanation, and I'll read a quote, "If I have one conversation with one female streamer where we're playing with one another, and even if there's a hint of flirting, that is going to be taken and going to be put on every single video and be clickbait forever." So it sounds like he's using an argument. He's married. He doesn't want to, in his words, sort of start rumors. And his solution for for avoiding that is to just only stream with dudes.
First of all, thank you for being here and replacing Ashley. I felt uncomfortable doing a round table with a woman.
It's just dudes. We can be ourselves.
Just dudes. Dudes never get together. There can be no flirtation between dudes. That's never happened in the history of the world.
It does seem a little strange to me because while on one I respect someone who wants to, be true to their relationship. This seems like hitting an ant with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, I feel like this is that counter argument I frequently hear, when we talk about stopping and addressing sexual harassment in the workplace.
Yes.
This is the terrible knee-jerk reaction you hear. It's like, well, I'm just not going to hire women then. It's like, well, no, maybe you need to fix. And I'm not talking about Ninja specifically here.
No. Yeah.
But I feel like people who say that typically need to fix their own behavior. It's not not hiring a woman is not going to solve the issue.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a couple of assumptions he's making too. Like, I'm so irresistible. Like, there's going to be some sexual tension. Or I just can't control myself around women, or it's almost that the argument of When Harry Met Sally, like men and women can't be friends, or they can't co-work together. But I do feel like that's just a little broad. It's just a little I have one of my best gaming friends. We played it. We don't stream, but we play Destiny 2, and it's not a problem. Our conversations center around Destiny.
Also, I feel like this is, I think the biggest reason I'm disappointed in this answer is I felt this could be a teaching moment for his younger viewers, showing, this is how you can game with someone of the opposite sex, be treated as equals, and have fun in this pastime together. Instead, the example is, you could get in trouble, so in order to avoid trouble, just avoid them unless you're actually interested in them. I don't know, the message gets confusing at that point.
And there's been a couple of cases of this. I mean, most famously, Mike Pence, our vice president, said he will not have dinner with anyone who's not his wife. Henry Cavill, I think recently, Superman, he said something a little bit gonna.
I think what he said was he would not date anyone he didn't already know or already date. He wouldn't date. It was something along those lines. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but the gist of it was he would not date new people he didn't know from the past.
Yeah, I don't. It just seems like. I think it's admirable to want to be true to your spouse, and he's free to whatever he wants to do. But it does feel like with his position, he's the number one streamer on Twitch, 10 million subs. He's the number one, and he plays the biggest game out there. So it's kind of like what he says has more importance than just sort of a random streamer.
Right. And this wasn't just some throwaway comment.
Yeah.
It's like this was during an interview, and obviously it's been picked up.
Right.
And, it's spread everywhere. And I think there's a little bit of social responsibility, going back to what I said earlier. I think it is potentially a teachable moment that has gone off the rails.
Yeah, I also feel like another subtext here is gaming historically has not been friendly to women.
True.
I
think I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah.
And it may have come up in the past.
But I have friends who, I can think of one friend of mine, she does not use voice chat because with strangers, because if people hear a lady's voice, she'll get bombarded with things. There's been cases in the fighting game community where a lot of unacceptable behavior is sort of used. So it also seems to me like if you want to make gaming more inclusive, if you want it to not just be a teen boys club or a 20-somethings boys club, I feel like you have to stream with people.
Right. You got why not? I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's just step one, right? It's just playing the game with a woman or playing the game with someone who you are not in a relationship with. How about that?
Right. I also think if he wanted to set a guideline like, okay, I'm not going to go hang out with these ladies. Like, we're not going to go have beers after and hang out all night till 2 a.m. I get that. You're married. That's in a weird, possibly a weird situation. But just streaming, like remotely, when you're not
a game,
when you're assumably in like different cities or different, it doesn't seem like, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? How do we make this right? Because it feels like there's a divide because I hear a lot of people saying he can do whatever he wants.
And he can. He can absolutely do whatever he wants.
And he is doing whatever he wants.
It has worked for him.
Right. But then there's this other side of, well, you're kind of leaving out an entire community, 51% of the population. So what do we, I don't know, what's a way to like get past this?
I mean, ultimately, it's up to him. I mean, how do we get past it? I mean, we just talk about it, I guess, and encourage other people who stream to stream with people indiscriminately of gender and not make a weird thing out of it. I guess maybe I'm an old man. I don't understand. I don't understand what the big deal is about streaming with someone of the opposite gender, someone you could conceivably be physically attracted to.
I also feel like, and he mentioned that this wasn't his wife, this was his own bright idea, and he also mentioned that he didn't want to get the internet talking because people are going to pick up on what. But that's true. But isn't that kind of the price you pay? Isn't that the price you pay for being a public figure?
Guess what? The internet's talking.
Right.
I mean, it happened regardless. The internet's probably talking more now because of this instead of any potential streaming he may have done.
But like even at any level, if you have any kind of notoriety, people are going to talk about you regardless. Like you can't stop that. It feels like, ooh, he likes her. That feels like such a like elementary school level.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, also, it's just, if we really want to dig down to like the other level, it's like,
dig.
It's not, men aren't only attracted to women. He could conceivably be attracted to dudes as well.
Right.
And whatever. Like, why don't we talk about that? Like, what if the policy was, I'm only going to stream with ugly dudes? Or it's like...
because the assumption there is I'm only going to, like you said, I'm only going to stream with dudes because there's no way two dudes can be attracted to each other.
It's like, so I really, the logic just escapes me entirely. I don't know where we're at.
Right. Even if he's not, he could be streaming with another dude who's like flirting with him. Or
right.
So
absolutely.
Even with that, by that rationale, he hasn't solved his problem that he thinks he has.
Right. I think it's just like boiled down. Like it's what you said. It's a very schoolyard view of the issue and a very schoolyard solution to the issue instead of maybe addressing it head on and doing something about it. Because again, like he said in his quote, maybe they could take moments out of context and people would talk about it. But I view that as the short-term stumbling block. And eventually, we'll all get past this to where it's not an issue for anybody. It's like
it's normalized for you to play, which it should be already.
We should normalize it. Like these are first steps we should be taking. Frankly, these are steps we should have been taking years ago. We're way behind. And then we can get to a point where nobody cares. It's whatever.
Do you think that this may have... I've heard people sort of say things like this, not exactly the same, but sort of in the aftermath of the Me Too movement, like, well, I'm just, I just throw up my hands, which, again, seems like an overreaction. All you have to do is treat people with respect.
Right.
You won't have a problem.
Keep it in your pants and treat people like humans. How about that? How about we start there?
Don't take your cues from Mad Men.
Absolutely not. I think that's kind of ultimately the thing, right? Is some of these people, like you talk about the Me Too movement or Time's Up and all this, some of these people say, well, I want you to clearly define to me what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And I know the reason they're asking that is so they know how far they can push before getting in trouble. It's like, let's avoid that. Let's just be cool. Let's just be human.
I also feel like a lot of this is he's not young, but like he's in his 20s. It also feels I said some shit in my 20s and like had views that I, look back and I'm like, and
I don't want to come across like I'm demonizing him
No,
or saying,
not
let's
at all.
boycott him or nothing like that.
No.
It's just, let's look at this and say, let's learn from this and let's see how can we do better going forward.
Right. Because I don't know. I feel like the ultimate goal would be like, I don't know, making people feel comfortable and included, and not just this sort of sole province of men or young men. And it just feels like this is very counterproductive. And I don't think that he meant that when he said that. I think he just had his own, this felt like maybe his own personal rule. But yeah, given his stature, given, that he is a huge streamer, this is going to spark this conversation.
Yeah, and I'm sure, we don't know what it's like to be Ninja. We don't know what it's like to receive that level of scrutiny over these kinds of things. So, I'm sure all he's thinking is, how do I minimize this stress? How do I minimize this thing that's happening to me? And it's a quick reaction that we get.
I just want to stream Fortnite. I don't want to have to deal with all this other stuff. But the reality is, you have to deal with it. At his level, you have to. And if you're, if you have anyone on your stream and there's some sort of weirdness or flirtation, or you get into an argument or a fight with somebody, if he does it, it's news. Like he's in a position where whatever he does is news. So, yeah, hopefully it would be nice to see. Maybe I don't know if he'll come around or whatever. I don't know the ultimate solution, but it does seem like, to me, while I respect wanting to be true to your spouse and all that, but maybe not go so far.
Yeah, I mean, and again, he says that this wasn't his spouse's idea. This was his own idea. Just don't make it weird. I mean, how about that? Don't make it weird. Like, let's just play video games.
Yeah,
that's all I want to do.
Yep, so that's all we've got on this issue. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because it kind of blew up over the weekend, and I had some friends like messaging me like, what did you think about this? And so I thought it would be just be something good to discuss. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments. I'm sure you will.
I'm curious to hear what people think about it.
Yeah.
I really am.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
No out. Is that how we sign off?